Now you can have your fat-free cake and eat it too. Hey, Chef Dez coming at you from my kitchen again, corporate chef of BC Egg. Yeah, today we're gonna make a fat-free cake. What is that? It's angel food cake. Angel food cake is amazing, and a lot of people will buy it in a box format, like a cake mix, but I wanna show you really how easy it is, and the texture difference is amazing. So make sure you try this recipe. And yeah, it's fat-free. Let's get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is combine a few dry ingredients. So we have 1 1/4 cups of pastry and cake flour, 3/4 cup of white sugar. Now I said it was fat-free, but I didn't say calorie-free. And just a little bit of salt, 1/4 teaspoon. And we're just gonna blend those dry ingredients together. And we'll set that aside. The next ingredient we need to prepare is 1 3/4 cups of egg whites. So no egg yolks, just egg whites. You'll need about 12 to 15 eggs to get that volume of egg whites. We'll see how many we need. Remember, each egg, even though they're graded as a large size, are a little bit different in size, each one. So you never really know how many eggs you're gonna need until you get there. And it's important to note that these egg whites are at room temperature. They'll whip up a lot better. Always remember, every single large BC egg has 14 key nutrients, all 9 essential amino acids, over 6 grams of the highest quality protein you can get. And 1 large egg, it's only 80 calories. So I'm gonna take these eggs, I'm gonna separate them with my hands. I like doing that the best. I'm gonna put my yolks in here. I'm gonna save that for a different recipe. One recipe I really recommend that uses only egg yolks that you might wanna try, look for it at bcegg.com. It's my lemon zabaione, and I'll spell it for you right down here. It's an amazing dessert recipe that I know you'll love, and you'll need a use for those egg yolks anyway. So I'm gonna put my egg yolks here, the shells here, and what I'm gonna do for each egg white, I'm gonna put it in a separate bowl first. You wanna try and make sure you don't get any egg yolk in with your egg whites, because that will inhibit the egg whites from whipping up as much. And then as I get each egg white, I'm gonna put in my measuring cup and do one at a time until I reach that 1 3/4 cup measure. Now we're going to take that 1 3/4 cups of egg whites and put it in a mixing bowl. A mixing bowl that will fit on your stand mixer, because you probably don't want to do this by hand. We're going to turn this on medium-low speed just until the eggs become a bit frothy, and then we're going to add the cream of tartar. Now that they're frothy, 1 1/2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. Then we're going to increase the speed to high until we reach soft peaks. Soft peaks is when the top of the eggs just does a little curlicue like a soft serve ice cream. So at this point, we'll reattach the whip. And on high speed, we're gonna add another 3/4 cup of white sugar, 1 tablespoon at a time, along with 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, until these eggs are nice and glossy and stiff peaks. All right, look at that. Beautiful, look how stiff that is. Incredible. Now what we're gonna do is take these beaten egg whites and we're gonna place it in a larger bowl just so we have more room for folding. I forgot to mention the cream of tartar that we added. That's tartaric acid. It's a residue from winemaking. It helps the egg whites to whip up better, but we wanted to make sure the egg whites were foamy first. That helps to build the air network in the egg whites. Then you add the cream of tartar before whipping them up completely. And the cream of tartar helps them build nice and fluffy egg whites. And the whole reason why an angel food cake is called angel food is because it's said that it's so light and airy that angels could eat it and it wouldn't weigh them down and they could still fly. So the next step we're going to do, remember the dry ingredients we set aside at the beginning? We're going to add that about 1/4 of it at a time to this, but we're going to sift it to make sure that there's no lumps. So I just guess about 1/4 of it. I put it in a wire mesh strainer like that. And then I sift it over top. Looks like a snow-covered mountain. I just push the remaining ingredients through. And after each addition of the dry ingredients, we're gonna fold it in. And I'll show you how to do that. So we're gonna take the egg whites and gently fold this in. This way we are ensuring that we don't deflate the egg whites. And how we're gonna do this is scrape the bowl while turning the bowl, coming around and pushing the ingredients in. That will add some extra air as we push in. So scrape, turn the bowl and push, scrape, turn, push, scrape, turn, push, until that addition of the dry ingredients has been incorporated, and then we'll add some more dry ingredients. Scrape, turn, push, scrape, turn, push. This is a perfect technique for folding. Let's add a bit more dry ingredients. And fold again. By turning the bowl like that, you're able to scrape the whole diameter of the bowl and keeping the edges clean and keeping the ingredients in the center. By doing the dry ingredients just 1/4 at a time, you're going to ensure that they get evenly distributed throughout this whipped egg white mixture. Now we're going to transfer this mixture into our cake pan. We're using a tube cake pan. This is traditional for angel food cake. We need that center hole, that tube coming up the center, for a couple of good reasons. Number one, to help with even cooking, because you're going to have heat coming through the top of here and cook the center of the cake as it cooks the outside of the cake. But most importantly, we need as much structure as we can for this cake batter to hold on to. This is very light and delicate. Remember, it's angel food. And also very important to note that we're not greasing this pan. We don't want it greased at all. We need that cake batter to stick to the pan so it rises up and stays there so it doesn't deflate. When I do this, I always transfer to a smaller spatula to get it in there with less mess. And I use a bigger spatula for my folding. So I'm just going to clean this one off, and then I'm going to transfer into the tube cake pan. You want to try and do it as even as possible as well. We'll smooth it out at the end, but just to make sure it's even. So now we'll take the time to smooth this out and make a nice even layer. That's good. One last thing, just take a butter knife and just do a zigzag motion, and that will break up any large air bubbles that we don't want. And do that all the way through the batter. And then smooth it out one more time. Then we're going to bake this at 350 degrees in the lower third of your oven for about 30 to 40 minutes. You're waiting for it to become golden brown and it springs back to the touch. The other thing you can do to check, just to make sure it's completely done, is insert an instant read thermometer, and you're looking for a temperature of 206 degrees Fahrenheit or 97 degrees Celsius. I'll see you back here in about 30 to 40 minutes. All right, there's our timer. Look at how beautiful that is. Now, when cooling this, you always have to cool it upside down. I'll show you what I like to do. I take 3 cans like that and just balance it on the edge of the cake pan. It's not going to slide out, don't worry. Remember, we didn't grease it. A lot of times in a recipe, it'll say to get a glass bottle or something, a funnel, where you can balance that inner tube on. I find that a bit precarious, especially because it has to sit here for a while. You want to cool it like this, upside down, for a minimum of 2 hours. What that does, it helps to make sure that the cake doesn't deflate and it stays nice and high as it sets into place when it comes to room temperature. So I'll see you back here in 2 hours. All right, let's have a look at this. So we just turn it right side up. And then remember, we haven't greased the pan, so we have to loosen it from the pan in order to get it out. So I just use a butter knife and run all the way around the outside. and then around the inner tube as well. Now we can take it like this, we can pop it out, and then the last part to do is take that same butter knife and run it all the way around the bottom until it pops right out. All you have left to do now is cut it and enjoy. I recommend a serrated knife, and I usually cut it in about 8 to 10 portions. You can go as many as 12 if you wanted to, but with a serrated, because it's so delicate, we just gently saw through it. And look at that amazing, beautiful, soft texture. It is incredible. It is so light and airy, and it looks delicious. Make sure you're checking out the website at bcegg.com for this recipe and a whole bunch of others, along with egg tips and egg tricks. And this is Chef Dez signing out. Where are you getting your protein from?